What's up, guys? Tommy Mutchler here, your lazy agent, and today we're going to talk about what I would do if I was starting over in real estate. I'm going to be really honest, this is like the fifth or sixth time that I've recorded this video, and that is because it's rather complicated. There are, even though I have like a bunch of notes in front of me, there are a bunch of factors to consider into when talking about something like this when you're starting over in real estate. It's like, do you have a budget? Like, do you know anything about real estate? Are you moving to a new area? Have you been in real estate for a while and you just need to like start fresh? Like, you just need to start over. You need to join new brokerage, dump all your old leads and just completely start over. Like, there's so many factors to consider when starting over, or if you are starting new as a real estate agent. Now, I think I've actually broken this down into 3 steps. Now, in each step, there's going to be steps. So it's steps inside of steps, right? So we're going to get really tactical here. There's 3 main steps moving forward. So the first and arguably the most important thing you need to do when starting over is generating leads. I know I need leads more than anything. Without leads, your business is dead. Unfortunately, that's just the reality of every single real estate business, or any business actually ever to exist anywhere. You need leads. You need customers. You need people who want to buy or sell a house from you. And the only way for you to get them is if you go out and find them. Now, luckily, there's a couple different ways you can go about this. You can either chase leads. So this would be like cold calling, door knocking, harassing people to work with you, which does work. I kind of mock that a little bit. Cold calling does absolutely work, just not something I like to do. I've done like Zillow and Realtor.com. All those work. Like, they take time. Like, you got to give it time, and they're all going to cost you something. One costs you hours, one costs you dollars. Both strategies can be great. However, if I was starting over, I would choose the content creation route. And while it is more work than, say, Zillow leads, because Zillow leads just call you, it's going to be a lot more sustainable than cold calling, and it's going to be a lot cheaper than Zillow and Realtor.com leads. So for me, what I would do is I would create an attractive content creation based strategy, aka I would just do YouTube. Now, assuming I didn't know anything about YouTube and I was starting over, I would need to find a guide or mentor. And this is true for any lead generation strategy. If you're cold calling, find a guide, a coach, a mentor, join a coaching program, spend $5,000, join a program, and learn how to get good at cold calling. Mostly you just need to do it, right? But having that guide, that coach, that accountability, someone who's done it, willing to show you and help you and hold your hand when you get stuck, is incredibly valuable. And that's true for cold calling, it's true for working Zillow leads, and it's definitely true for content creation like YouTube. Now, once I picked my lead generation strategy, I would just research, I would watch a ton of YouTube videos, I would just Google like crazy, I would ask around, and I would see who has the best program. Now, I'm going to go ahead and give you a cheat code. I got 2 great course options for the YouTube route. If you want a free YouTube course, you can go to freeyoutubecourse.com, which is by far the best free real estate YouTube course made by yours truly. Or if you want the best paid course out there, Christina Smallhorn and Joe Eves, they have their Real Estate Geeks course. You can also find it at that free YouTube link I just gave you, or in the description down below. I'll have a link down below that you can find their course at. It does cost a few $1,000s, but it is worth it. It is by far the best paid YouTube course out there, and no one knows YouTube better than those 2. So that's just like a quick pro tip, by the way. So if you just want to skip the research part, just go with them. For me, I need leads. I chose YouTube. I'd probably just buy Christina Smallhorn and Joe Eves' course, or just watch a ton of YouTube videos and find every free course that I could possibly take. And I'd start implementing those strategies in my real estate business. Now, when I start implementing them, I would say the most important thing to do is follow the more, better, new strategy. So this applies to any lead generation strategy out there. It actually applies to a lot of things in life, but the more, better, new framework definitely applies to lead generation, regardless of the lead generation platform you choose. Now, we've talked about this in depth in other videos here, but real quick refresher, more is just do more. So that means make more content, make more phone calls, spend more money on generating real estate leads. Like, you just need more leads, okay? This is how we're going to get more leads, is by doing more activities that gets us those leads. In this case, it's making YouTube videos. Now, that doesn't mean I'm going to make a YouTube video every single day, because that's probably not going to be the best way to make YouTube videos. I'd probably make videos 1 to 3 times a week, but I'll just make sure that I am consistent about it above anything else. Now, we talked about more. Next is going to be better, and that's going to be making our content better. So no matter what, we're going to be making content. Like, you have to make it content regardless of how good or crappy it is. By the way, it's going to be really crappy when you're first starting out, and that's totally okay. Now, when it comes to making things better, this is where our guide, our course, our program, whoever it is that we're following is going to help us get better. So obviously do your research and do everything you can to get better. For me, I'm going to be buying these courses. I'm going to be going through them, doing what they say, and doing everything I can to make my content content better over time as I continuously post. Now, my favorite rule for the better strategy is to follow the 1% rule. So every time I make a piece of content or do anything, I just ask myself, what can I do to make it just 1% better? And if you do this every single day for an entire year, after that year is up, your content or lead generation strategy should be 37 times better, because that 1% can compound significantly over the 365 days. It's kind of like investing $100 and it going up in value by 1% a day for an entire year, which basically turns into $3,700. Lastly, in our more better new strategy is new. Now, new is kind of an oxymoron because it means don't do anything new. So once you can't do any more content and you can't make it any better, only then can you do something new. And that's because we as real estate agents get incredibly distracted. We want to do the new thing. Okay, we did YouTube videos. Like, we want to do the new shiny thing. Like, we did cold calls for a couple weeks and it didn't work. We made 2 YouTube videos and it didn't work. And we knocked on 7 doors and they all told me to go away and it didn't work. So we want to try something new. The reality is you just didn't do enough of it and you didn't make it good enough. So before you do anything new, you need to max out doing more of it, and then you need to max out making it as best as you possibly can. So that means if I was starting over in real estate, I would only do YouTube videos, nothing else. I would do them consistently and I'd do everything I can to make them better before I did something new. You know, I think it was Bill Gates that had a saying, and I really, really like this saying, and that's people overestimate what they can do in 1 year and then they underestimate what they can do in 3 years. I think this is really important when it comes to lead generation, because almost every single lead generation strategy will work. It's just most realtors don't give them enough time to work. They overestimate what they can do in a short period of time and underestimate what they can achieve in a couple years. So again, before we move on to step 2, the only thing I would focus on is generating leads. Like, seriously, like, that's the main thing. Just generate leads, as many leads as you can. Ideally, my favorite approach is going to be the YouTube content strategy approach. And I'm literally going to be spending 80 to 90% of my time just making content to generate leads and nothing else. In fact, I'd actually take that back. I will spend 100% of my time just creating new content, with the exception of going on appointments or selling houses. Like, those are the only 2 exceptions to making content. Now, step number 2 is going to be automate your follow-up. Now, whether you have a CRM at this point or not, you're going to need to get one. Now, obviously, we have the Lazy Agent CRM, definitely the best CRM in the world. It's basically done for you, plug and play. You just got to change a couple of settings and it's going to follow up, nurture all your leads, and turn them into booked appointments for you completely automatically. Now, you can use a dumb CRM to accomplish this if you want. It's just going to be a little bit more work for you. But this is the point in your business once you're generating leads, is you need to start organizing your leads as they come in. Depends on how you're generating your leads, how you bring them in. I would probably use something like a funnel or a landing page to try and sell leads to come into my system. And I would follow the hook, story, offer approach by that, where you create an intriguing title, the hook, you then tell them a story, and then you make them an offer so good that they can't say no to. So if an example would be is if I were to include a call to action for inside of my YouTube videos, I might have a funnel landing page that says something along the lines of how to sell your house for top dollar without renovating it, or how to find your dream home without overpaying. A really good hack for hooks, by the way, is do how to and then followed by without. So how to find your dream home, right? So big payoff without overpaying. Same thing for home sellers. How to, we have our desire, which is going to be selling their home for top dollar. How to sell your home for top dollar. And then we do without pain. So without renovating it, because renovating it sounds painful. We then have our story. So it's going to be the whatever it is we promised in our hook. And then we're going to make an offer related to it. Hey, if you actually want help finding your dream home without overpaying, give us a call, book an appointment with us, things like that. Then once we have all their contact information, we're going to want to be following up with them. Again, ideally you're using like the Lazy Agent CRM, or at a minimum, some sort of AI tools that are going to be following up with your leads automatically and trying to get them to book an appointment with you. I would also recommend doing something like a newsletter. Now, you can create fully automated newsletters inside the Lazy Agent CRM, but if I'm being honest, personalized newsletters about your local area that you write or make a video about. Video newsletters are amazing, by the way. Would definitely recommend them. Pro tip, by the way, do a live stream once a week and then put that live stream in the newsletter. And again, for our newsletter strategy, we're going to want to be following that hook, story, offer strategy that I mentioned earlier. So hook them in with the subject line. The story is obviously the content of the email, and then the offer is our one call to action, which should be to work with you, book a call with you, or call you, or something like that. Basically, think of step 2 as all of our internal marketing. So once we have our leads in our database. We want to be following up with them and working them. Ideally, we automate this so our CRM is turning these leads that we've generated into booked appointments. So just to recap, step one is we need to generate as many leads as we possibly can. We're going to want to find a guide to help lead us into doing that. We want to do as much of it as we possibly can. We want to make it as best as we possibly can. And we don't want to do anything new until we can't do any more and we can't make it any better. Step two is going to be converting those leads into appointments. And we're going to do this through funnels, AI-powered follow-up campaigns, and automated newsletters. And yes, of course, you can add like mailers if you want to this. I don't, but you can. Now, step number 3 is going to be systemize our service. So we've already maxed out our leads. We've already created our database and have gotten that all automated. We now need to systemize our services. First thing I would do is before every appointment that I go on, so whether it's a listing consultation, home buyers consultation, I'm going to want to send out indoctrination email videos. So these are emails that are pre-selling my leads on why they need to work with me. Okay. You might need to experiment with these. You might need to change them up every now and then, but I would just create emails, ideally 1 to 3, depending on the type of leads you're working with and the type of appointments you're booking, but basically selling them on why they need to work with you by giving them something of incredible value. A really good example of this could be you're doing a home buyer's tour or like a home buyer's consultation. You might want to send them a video titled 3 Ways Home Buyers Always Get Ripped Off. Now, I don't know about you, but a subject line like that would really catch my attention and I would want to click on it and watch it. And then you could talk about the 3 ways that home buyers generally get ripped off when they're buying a house. Now, and if you do this correctly, this can be a pre-frame or pre-selling video that's actually subconsciously selling them into why they should work with you. See what I'm saying? You can also do indoctrination videos for like reviews. So like, I just sold Susie's house and I made her an extra $50,000. I just sold Cameron's house. All this stuff happened and I made him an extra 20 grand, whatever, something like that, right? You basically just want to create systems for all your processes for servicing your clients. So again, it's going to start with the appointment. Before the appointment, I want to send out a bunch of material to them that they can consume that sells them on why they should work with me. I would also do all that I can to master the appointment. So once I go on the appointment, I would do everything I can to reflect on those appointments and find what can I do to make better. So how can I get better at selling my services? How can I make sure they always sign the listing agreement or the buyer agency agreement? You know, again, we're going to want to find a guide or a mentor that we can learn or study from who can give us tips and feedback on how to get better at selling ourselves on the appointment. And then lastly, I would just create systems and SOPs. Standing operating procedures is what SOPs mean, by the way, for everything transaction related. So all our transactions, I would just pre-write every single email template that I could possibly think of. I would systemize everything. I would hire a transaction coordinator. I would even consider hiring a VA. Obviously, I wouldn't hire a VA until I have sold quite a few houses. I had the extra cash. However, I probably would hire a transaction coordinator immediately, unless of course I'm on a team that handles that for me for free. But if I didn't have one, I would definitely hire one. And that's because you need to be spending your time mostly on generating leads and then secondly on going on appointments. Okay, so you don't have time to be managing these transactions. You should hire that person right away. Now, even if you're a new agent, the nice thing about most transaction coordinators, they're usually pay on closing. So it's very rare that you'll have to pay them right away. So again, to reiterate my plan, if I were to start over again as a real estate agent, first up, focus all my attention on lead generation and generating as many leads as I possibly can, ideally the highest quality leads and ideally attracting those leads to me as opposed to chasing them. Step 2 is I would then automate all my follow-up, all my newsletters, and all my funnels. So once I have all these leads that I've generated, they can then get converted automatically into appointments. And then step 3 is going to be, of course, systemizing and automating my services. These are like our pre-appointment indoctrination videos, creating SOPs and email templates for our transaction, and basically everything around our service that we're providing to our clients. We want to automate as much of that as possible and have a clear, concise battle plan moving forward. Again, if you notice, the way I'm setting up this business as if I'm starting over from scratch, big chunk of it is automated, and that's so I can spend most of my time making content to generate new leads and then spend the rest of my time going on appointments and servicing my clients. And the reason I do it this way is because I want to have more free time and I want to make more money. So I don't know about about you, but I want to make as much money as possible, working as little as possible. And as far as I know, this is the easiest way to build a automated real estate business. And this is what I would do step by step if I were starting over today. But with all that said, if you want to learn more about generating leads, you're going to want to check out this video right here. I go really in depth when it comes to lead generation and the ways that I generate leads. Otherwise, share this video with someone who is thinking about starting over in real estate. But with that said, my name is Tommy Mutchler, your lazy agent, and I will see you in the next one.